Our pregame show on this Saturday afternoon continues now with Southern Oregon University Offensive Coordinator Ken Fasnacht. Ken, gosh, since we last visited, the Raider offense seems to have settled in now. You're putting up some pretty big numbers, scoring about where you want to be. Is the offense where you want it to be at this point of the season?
It's never where I want it. We search for a perfect game, and to us, a perfect game is no negative plays, no penalties, no turnovers, and points on every drive. That's what we're striving to do. And if we don't hit that, we're not going to be happy. Now, at the same time, when we hit a lot of those goals and score a lot of points, it's always exciting for the fans, and it gives us a win, which is our ultimate goal, is to win football games. But I think we can get better. We're doing things well, but we're still having some inconsistencies, and I think we haven't reached that point where the offense is just totally clicked, where we're ready to roll. And hopefully that's this week. But there's always a point in every season where that does happen, where the kind of guys do settle in, understand what we're doing, and everybody's got their oar going in the same direction in the boat. And I feel that we've had a great practice this week, and I feel we've taken some steps to get to that point. But hopefully it is this week and make a big difference against Carroll.
And obviously that consistency gets a little more difficult with the injuries.
Right. Injuries are always what they are, but we recruited every one of these players that are here. So we expect them when they go in and get their turn to make their plays. There's nobody here that we don't want here. So we got to take the Raider way as next guy up mentality and go make some football plays. And those guys have had a lot of reps in practice because of the injuries too. So obviously Adonis stepped up well last week and made some big plays for us. And Dom Giampoli made a heck of a play down there in the red zone to get us one of the go-ahead scores. We're in a backup role. So they did what they were expected to do, and now they've had another week of work, and we expect improvement again.
What about Tanner and Cameron? They continue to split time at quarterback for you. I know you have a vested interest in that, of course. Is that something that we're going to see continue? Yeah,
but it's just, again, Tanner pretty much is the starting quarterback. He's taking most of the reps. We're going to always make sure there's a drive in the first half and a drive in the second half where we get Cam in the game. Part of it is because Tanner is a mobile quarterback that runs around, which means he's going to take some hits, and we want to be prepared if he does that Cam goes in the role, has had game experience in big situations, and he definitely did that last week. He went in on the 7th drive and actually scored the first drive that put us ahead in the second half. So and drove us 85 yards in doing so. So I think it's been good for us to continue to do that. We're going to continue to make sure that he has consistent reps in live action so that he can be ready. But most of the reps still go to Tanner as the game goes on.
Seems like the MO of Southern Oregon football is you play to your strengths. You recruit that way. Speed has a big part of that. Are the players now getting more comfortable in their roles? Are they maturing to the point that you would have them be at this point of the season?
Yeah, obviously the first part is being 4-1 in the driver's seat for the Frontier Conference is where we want to be. We control our own destiny, number one. And then again, players forming up, that's what we're looking for, everybody. That we're not a team where one guy's going to get 50 touches. We're a team where we're going to spread the ball out to 4 wide receivers and 4 different running backs, and multiple guys are going to touch the ball, and each one of them has a different role in the offense, and if they play their role, we're going to win football games. And right now I think everybody's settled into that spot, and there's a lot of weapons on the field to use, and that's part of how it makes it hard to defend us. You don't got to defend just one back. You got to defend 4 different styles of running backs right now. You got to defend 4 wide receivers that play. You got to defend a throwing quarterback in Cameron and a dual threat quarterback in Tanner, so it makes us tough to defend.
As a whole, seems like the team has come together over the last couple of weeks in particular. The defense, Coach Brown's defense, just played a terrific game last weekend. Actually was the difference in the ball game, the win in overtime. Special teams has always been a nice element to have. You've got a great special teams group. Is this the point where you start looking down the road?
Well, you can't ever do that. Every week you got to say that we want to be 1-0 and to face this nameless opponent, and they draw the short side of the straw. That the most important thing on all 3 of those phases is that Southern doesn't beat Southern. The defense executes and plays their gap and does what they're supposed to do on the back end of the coverage. That the offensive line does their job. The wide receivers are great without the football when it's not coming to them, and that we make sure we do what we're supposed to do first. And then if we do that, then the opponent can't dictate how we play, and we can move forward and try to stay 1-0 every week. I think it's always dangerous to start looking ahead in any part of your schedule, because especially in this conference where there are no weeks off. Northern is probably the weakest team in the country in our conference last week, and we got those out of the way 2 weeks ago. But there's no more of those. We don't play them again. Everybody else is in a dogfight. Eastern is a 3-loss football team that's probably to me the most talented team in the conference besides us maybe. So we got to play them again. So you got to really just take every week as preparing for what we're supposed to do and hope we can execute our offense and defense and keep game and make sure we win football games.
And before we let you go, this week, big one. This is the time when Raider Nation is going to gather, and should be a full house. Anticipation quite high. This is a club, a program that you're very familiar with.
Right.
It's been a great rivalry. What can you tell us about Carroll?
I mean, obviously Van Diest has been he's been the defensive mind in NAI football for a long time, and definitely has dominated the entire country. I mean, he gives up 9 points, on average as a defense of the country, and we've been fortunate to score a lot of points against him. But he's always going to have a prepared plan that's going to be hard for us to execute and make sure it's hard to get ahead of him. And then the second point is they're just a very experienced team in the back end. Their struggles right now, with their losses have not come on the defensive side of the ball. They've come on the offensive side of the ball where they're struggling a little bit, but they're still playing great defense. They're still Carroll on that side, and they're always tough to prepare for, when you go to play them. But at the same time, we've had success against them in the past too. It's not something. The game one was an anomaly for what we were doing, from an execution standpoint.
Right.
We've clicked ever since that week, and now we're excited to play them again this week, and hopefully we go back to being Southern Oregon offense and move the football against what we feel is the best coach team in the conference and maybe the country besides us.
Home sweet home, Ken.
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it.
You bet. Our guest has been SOU offensive coordinator Ken Fasnacht. Stay with us. Our Raider pregame show will continue following these messages.